All right. Well, good evening. My name is Professor Shaps, and you obviously know who you are. Uh, I want to welcome you to this most interesting class. We will be discussing management for the first 3 weeks, and then in the last 3 weeks, we're going to go into marketing. Basically, you're just getting an introduction to these most advanced concepts. So you will be doing this later on in your graduate classes. You'll be going into these things in quite amount of depth. If I get to the point where because I do have a cold, if I can't talk, I may ask for a volunteer to read one of these slides. We'll go as fast as we can. I will outline the stuff that's the most important. There's a lot of fluff in this, but let's do it. Let me see how to advance this. All right, that's me. And well, it's me about 10 years ago. And I was in Greece, and I've been there a lot of times. So I'm an adjunct professor of business and marketing at Davenport. I've been with the school 6 years. And I think the thing that everybody wonders about is, this class looks so hard. And, this guy, he could just ruin my life. Well, I'm not going to ruin your life. This can be the easiest class you've ever taken. And getting an A or a B in this class is so doable. Usually 90% of all of my students get an A or a B, usually about 60 to 70, 80% get an A. So why do some students get a B? Because they don't start listening to me until after weeks 1 and 2, and they've lost so many points, there's no way to make them back. I don't let students do makeup work other than what we've defined in the late policy. So you need to read the announcements and the assignments. And if you want a great grade in this class, it's easy. And the one thing I have to tell you is never contact me with excuses. It won't help. Trust me. I'll give you one situation. I had a student who was in the Caribbean, and listen, if there's a weather issue, that's not an excuse, okay? And she called me on the phone and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't turn in my paper. I'm really concerned that I'm not going to do well in this class." And I said, "Why didn't you turn in your paper?" And she basically told me she was incarcerated for shoplifting. I mean, that's not a really great excuse, okay? I'm not big on excuses. You either do it or you don't do it. And I don't need stories of I took a balloon ride and I crashed in a tree and I fell down the tree and I skinned my knee and I had apple juice that morning and my kids were eating toast and they broke a dish and I had to have them sort of oh, that's exhausting. Come on. Keep it simple. I couldn't do the homework. I will have it in by ... However, there's always a penalty. We'll go over that. All right. This is just the way it's been for 6 years. Okay. So read the announcements to avoid any kind of confusion. The secret of this class is I tell you how to get an A if you read the announcements. I give you everything you need to know. I give you the table of contents. I give you examples. I tell you what font to use. That you cannot fail this class or get a good grade if you don't read the announcements. And then another reason is that I change things all the time. And if you read the university reservation statement, if I adjust something, you'll see it in the announcements. So why would I adjust something? Well, because I can see that people aren't understanding it, I look at the course as a whole. Okay, kind of a gestalt thing. Yeah? All right, so let's just really get on to this, and you're gonna have to listen carefully. However, you can watch this again tomorrow or the next day, but let's really take this apart. Every paper in this class must have an APA formatted title page. You don't know how to do a title page? Look at the example. Include the words running head and the project company name. You don't know how to do that? Look at the example. Every paper must have an APA formatted table of contents. You don't know how to do that? Look at the example. Minimum of 5 fully written APA formatted pages, about 300 words per page. Don't know how to do that? Look at the example. Every reference will need an in-text citation. Don't know how to do that, or you're not familiar with in-text citations? Look at the example. No reference before 2012. All references must have an in-text citation. Every paper for weeks 1, 3, and 5 will have 5 references. You'll get other instructions in week 2 and 4. Do not use Wikipedia. I do check for plagiarism. Anything over 35% will receive a deduction. Anything over 50% will receive a 0. If you sent, no, I hope you sent an email test. If you didn't send a message to course messages to this, I don't know what I'm talking about here. I write this stuff and then I go off. You're not writing a 5-page paper. You will be doing research and answering questions in order to build the paper. Okay? You don't know what that looks like? Look at the example. How easy can this be? I tell you what it is. Look at the example. Copy the example. Don't copy anything in this class. You do not want an academic integrity file. That's the last thing you want. Don't copy anything. Learn how to paraphrase. Put everything in your own words. This is a 7-week course. You know what the learning objectives are if you read everything. Grades will depend on your ability to follow the learning outcomes and assignments. Apply and discuss management and marketing concepts. Develop and submit the appropriate assignments on time, and provide regular, meaningful, and substantive participation. Now, I went into the discussions, and I just did, I think, last night. I was quite impressed. You guys, if you continue doing that, 400 to 500 words, if it's your opinion, in my opinion, you need 2 references, you got it. You're understanding it. A lot of students don't get it. And, only 6 people showed up today. We have 21 people in the class. How many people you think are going to fail in this class? I know already. According to university policy, in order to successfully complete this course, a student must satisfactorily complete the course project. That means if you don't turn a course project in, you fail the class. Now, if you don't turn in papers 1, 3, and 5, you fail the class because now you have an incomplete final project paper. So you can see how important that paper is. Now, let me stop for a second and tell you a little bit about me. I was the executive director of marketing for Universal Pictures. I did 400 movies. I did E.T., Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, Schindler's List. So I'm a marketing guy. I'm also a business guy. I've owned businesses, and I've taught business and marketing since around 2010. So I know my stuff. Don't try to snow me, okay? Because I read everything, and I read so fast. If you consider I've got 21 students, right, that are going to turn in 21 5-page, and that's 5 written pages every week. I've learned to get into it and see if you understand the concepts. And that's what you're going to be graded on, whether you understand it or not. Okay. Back up your work, no matter what. Okay? If you call me or you email me and say, oh, my computer crashed. My computer was confiscated by the FBI for evidence. Too bad. Keep your little USB drive and keep everything backed up. Your discussions, your reflections, your papers, everything. I have seen this so many times where students didn't do it. They lost it. They didn't press submit. Boom. Lost it, their paper or whatever. Did you back it up? Nope. There's no extra credit in this class. Okay? Sounds severe, doesn't it? After week 2, you're going to go, wow, it's a lot of work, but you know what? I got it. I know exactly what he wants. I know exactly how to do it. I can relax. And so read the syllabus, know what plagiarism is, look at the calendar. You'll know about the rubrics. If you've been in there already, you can copy those to your USB drive. Communicate. If you don't understand something, ask, but keep it simple. Don't, I hate this with, oh, I already screwed up. I did this, I did that. Come on. We don't need that. Words are time, and I don't have a lot. Keep up. This is a 7-week course, and the days fly by. Blink your eye right now. That's how fast this course is going to go. All of a sudden, you're going to go, wow, that went so fast. It does. I just ended a course 2 weeks ago. It was just like boom, boom, boom. Ask questions. Others may have the same concerns. It's okay for you to contact other students and ask questions. You can have a study buddy. I don't care. There are no tests in this class. None. Zero. The only test, really, if you want to call it a test, is your ability to follow directives. Okay? If you're in medical school, I'm sure they would want you to follow directives too, right? You wouldn't want to operate on somebody for a pheochromocytoma when actually it was only a splinter in their knee. So, follow directions. Respond to at least 3 of your peers each week. That's total 3, not 3 per question. Total. So that's, you could do 1 on the first question. You could do 2 on the second question. Do you have to wait till the 4th day to do your second question? No, do whenever you do it. You could do it the first day, second day, third day, do on the 4th day. You want to do your discussion, you could do it Monday, Tuesday, boom. I'm not sure if the class is open. If you're going to do it prior to whatever the days are. Our calendar is different. We always go to week 1, day 1. We'll look at the calendar. I'll go over that again. Proper APA format. Don't forget that title page. Weekly reflections. Oh my gosh, this is the easiest thing in the world. Your weekly reflections. What you do is you wait till Saturday and Sunday. I'm sorry, it's not that. You wait till day 6 and day 7. Either one. Doesn't make any difference. And you just write down your thoughts, your opinion. How will you use what you learned in the class that week? You can probably talk about, what you liked, what you didn't like. Just a reflection of the material a little bit. Don't get overwhelmed with, I learned what the 4 agreements were. I learned what the 4 P's are, and and the marketing mix and the target, and start regurgitating it. I could learn, I already know it, but anybody could read your reflection and go into the book or go anywhere on the website and get it. I want to hear from you. I want to hear about your passion and your ability to feel that you got something from the class. Okay? Remember, I'm not lecturing in this class. It's a self-paced situation with due dates. Due dates. Okay. So the reflections are 10 points, but there's one every week, so it turns out to be 70 points. If you don't do the reflections, I can almost promise you won't get an A in the class. So you write 300 words. You don't need any references. Just share with me your personal reflections about the material. Okay? You want to give examples? You can say, I was a manager at a Target, and I could see how this relates, and all these other things. I was a manager at one time, and I was a terrible manager. Terrible. And it wasn't until I got an MBA that I realized what I was doing wrong. So look at the people that you're studying, the companies and so forth, and use it. Use it to help you build a base, strong base. Okay. Don't regurgitate the book. So all course due dates are by midnight. Midnight on the waves. Okay, late work will be penalized. 10% the first day, 20% the second day. You can read all of that in announcements. Okay. If there's a hurricane and you are unable to have power and all that stuff, just write me. I'm pretty cool on that, I had a student in, I guess, Nevis, who had a donkey invade his room, and it was just about when he was ready to push the button, and so he was telling me about the donkey. Participation points. If you're late, you're late. Okay? If you're late, you lose half. So you don't want to be late. You always want to be before. Get those in. The late policy does not apply to the final project. You will know about this later. If your project isn't in on time, you get a 0. Now I know you're going, whoa, this is really strict. This is a 6.5 week class. You're on a fast track. The only way we can get you through this class, and remember, it's it's an accredited class, is to give you milestones and deadlines and due dates. And okay, so it's not me. I didn't write the class. I know the lady who did, and she did a great job, and I love her. She's awesome. Okay, I love this school, by the way. So if there's extenuating circumstances, contact me before the assignment's due. Again, I don't want to know, look, I have passion and compassion. If your little kid got an earache and you had to run to the emergency thing and you were in the middle and you take care of your family first. All right? I am totally there. Please arrange your backup plan prior to the start of the course. That means if you need another computer, you have one. I doubt we're going to have any snow. We might, I don't think in the Caribbean, but maybe in Grand Rapids. I don't know, strangest weather up there. I'm in Los Angeles. Unless you receive an email, I'm sure you read all this stuff already. Okay. In the syllabus, I've given you everything you need to know and when it's due, okay, and what points are related to it. All you have to do is just copy that, and then you can look and see what's due every week. So in week 1, you had your introduction, you did your email test, you have week 1, your forums 1 and 2. 3 quality discussion posts. You can do 1 in the first one and 2 in the second one, or vice versa. Whatever you feel like. There's some autonomy here. Course project paper. That's, I think, due Monday. And then you have your weekly reflection, and that's Monday. Now, if you go into the calendar, it shows that as well. What's due when and where. The one thing I'm going to stress in a minute is what this paper is all about. Because that's where you take the biggest hit. That's where I find students really, they either get it or they don't get it. And if they don't get it, it's because they didn't listen or look at the examples, or a donkey got into their room and they couldn't send their assignment. All right, so here's the calendar. So you can see here, Monday, you've got your part 1 is due, your 3 peer posts, you could do them Saturday, Sunday, I don't care. Reflection is due, all right? So you got all of that. And then next week, and next week, and next week, and next week, then your final paper's due, and then we go into a team activity. It's a long way off, and, it'll happen very quickly. I'll take you through everything. Don't worry. You're going to get tons of announcements. And the reason for that is so you know where you are. You know what my expectations are. Okay, limit your quotes to 1 or 2 sentences. I hate quotes. I want to know what you have to say. If you do a quote, whatever. You can always say, in my opinion, based on, and you don't want to do that too much. It's always better to paraphrase and show your resource. Every reference requires an in-text citation. You're hearing these things again. Minimum 5 references. Here's a please do not. Don't pad your paper with white space. Take a look at the example. Don't change the margins. Know what your margins are. They're 6.5. Don't include blocks of data. Oh, this company has 3,000 SBUs. That's strategic business units. I only want to know about 2 or 3. And you say 2 or 3 and 300 more, okay? You don't want to pad it. Photographs, charts, data go into the appendix if you need one. There's a minimum of 5 full written pages. That doesn't include your title page. That doesn't include the table of contents. And it doesn't include the reference page. Do not write a contiguous essay. You're going to break it into topics. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Table of contents. Contents, within things like remember the words running head. Okay. Use the grading rubric, and I'll show you that. Make sure every paper you do in the class has a table of contents. You see we're going back and forth. Font, 12-point, New Times Roman. Avoid bolding other than the legend. Okay? Every reference, we're going through that again. Okay. Here's the coolest thing I did for you. Okay. So this is the first class that has this. If you go to that navigation column, you'll see that it says resources 520. There are a ton of resources and things you can, I haven't looked at all of them. So all I can say is that if they work, the links work, great. If they don't, I understand. But then there's also these little things about APA and all kinds of stuff. Take a look at it. You might find something there that is useful. Your course project, okay, so we've gone over a lot of that. So what's so important here is that you're going to break this thing down. Look at the example, okay? You're going to break it down into topics rather than write this whole page. I can't grade it. I won't grade it unless you break it down into topics. Do you know what it would take if, say, you're writing a contiguous paper and on page 4 you tell me the historical perspectives on the organization and I got to go through this whole entire thing with no legends to find that? I just return it and make you redo it again or give you 0, okay? Because I'm telling you how to do it. Look at the example. All right, let's keep going here. This, I've sent it to you. Everybody got this. This is your table of contents. Don't add anything. Don't change anything except for the page numbers. You are going to answer these questions. So it's like 1 or 2 paragraphs. Organizational history, not all subsidiaries, just 2 or 3, and business units, same thing. Scope of business, what do they do, their products, their services. Market distribution. This is not about marketing. It's about where they sell their products. Leadership and management. Current issues. your conclusion, and references. Now, it doesn't say in the other one about conclusion, you should write it. Trust me. 1 or 2 paragraphs, it makes a difference. Plus, say you only get 4.5 pages out of this thing. You got that half a page that you got to fill. You can use the conclusion. All right. So here's what the paper looks like. Okay, there's your title page. I got this in the examples. Here's your table of contents. Notice how this is laid out. Here's your what you're doing. Here's description of organization right there. Then you write all of that. That's one paper. Okay. And then here's the description of leadership. Okay. So that's another. See how the pages are laid out. And like here's your references. Okay. References. And here's a conclusion that this student did. Notice it says 16, 15. This is from a long time ago. It was a final paper, but okay. So you've got your company analysis. I've given you the topics already. I've sent them to you. If you want to use the ones that are in the class, I'm okay with that, as long as you break it up into topics. Okay, so if you go into the syllabus, you'll find all kinds of very cool grading rubrics. I'm not going to write a ton of stuff. I've got these grading rubrics that are way cool that you'll be graded by, and it's like terrible, good, pretty good, and excellent, and all that other stuff. So depending on where you fall in there, I don't really want to write like a bunch of stuff because it's all in the announcements. Okay, so if you like forget a topic, let's just say you don't do one of the topics and you lose like 20 points, I'll tell you 0, you didn't do the topic. Okay, so I've given you the table of contents and you've got the one in the class. So either one or the other. I wouldn't worry about it one way or another. It's pretty much the same. But, if you leave out the name of the company, I think that would be like a serious problem. Okay, we'll take questions in a minute. You'll go into the grading rubric, and this is what it looks like. You can download all of these to your little USB drive. Let me get real close so you can see what it is. So here is kind of what I'm going to do. The points have all changed and everything, but description of the organization, and it says right here, demonstrates an understanding of the facts. And okay, that's my comments, and you'll get a score over here. So you may get 12, you may get 10. It's a difference of 2 points or 15 points, whatever it is. So you know that you did it. If you got 11 or 10, you still did great. It's just, it compared to maybe another student who wrote 5 paragraphs, you only wrote 3, or you didn't have enough detail. I might put a little comment in the bottom, okay? I don't want to exhaust you reading this stuff, okay? Actually, most students that get an A don't even read this stuff. They go, oh, I got an A, cool. Okay. Uploaded work must be Okay, we've been through all this stuff before. Your file, week 6 complete course project is due at the end of week 6, and it's really, we'll go over it. I'll send you emails, I'll send you examples. The biggest thing with this is you're going to take your week 1 paper, you're going to take your week 3 paper, you're going to take your week 5 paper. I'm going to give you a table of contents. You're going to put it in that order, and that's week 6. So you basically have done 7/8 of it. The only thing you're going to do extra is you're going to do one more topic about, a recommendation about the organization structure, and one recommendation about marketing, product place, promotion. And then you're going to do about 1.5 pages to 2 pages of conclusion. Hey, remember I told you that in every paper you should do a conclusion? Well, wouldn't it be better to do it now than to have to write a page and a half or 2 pages at the end of this thing? Do it as you go along. Okay, it's like putting walnuts in the bank. When you go to take them out, all you have are walnuts. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying. Excuses are for people who don't want it bad enough. If you're here, you probably want it bad enough. Okay? I know a lot of students are in medical school that need to take an MBA or want to take an MBA. Awesome. I know a lot of students are getting an MBA. I promise you, without a doubt, when you look at jobs out there, MBA preferred, MBA preferred. You know how many people, you're not going to, that's why my daughter worked for J. Walter Thompson. She was a marketing expert in social media. And she could only reach a certain, platform, salary platform. So I said, go out and look for a job. And every job, MBA preferred, MBA preferred, MBA preferred. Also, let me just tell you that, it's a great thing to fall back on. Let's try this really quick, because I know some of you are, kind of excited about it, and it really does go fast. Okay, so after your name, you could say your name, and you could say MBA, PhD, MD, OD. You've got these certifications that are so cool, as opposed to LSD, THC. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I know that Crystal is a vet, or is in vet school in the Cayman Islands, and I was supposed to go to the Cayman Islands scuba diving a few years ago, and I couldn't get there. It was like there was a storm or something. So not only is she a vet, but I think she has family over there too. Crystal, can you type into that little box for us? Oh, you can actually type.
Okay, are you able to hear me?
I can. How are things in the Cayman Islands?
Well, thank you. I'm on island time. I forgot that we're an hour behind the U.S.
Oh, that's no problem. But you know what? You'll look at the video tomorrow. There's no, you didn't miss anything. Now, is that your little girl in the pictures?
Yes, it is. We are both in Cayman,
Yeah.
and she looks younger than she is. She's actually a high schooler.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I actually went to Facebook and saw your pictures.
Oh, yeah, I said we're absolutely loving it. I dive also. That's why I chose Cayman. I'm in a market program, so I'm doing all aquatic electives, and
awesome.
Who knows?
You could be Flipper's doctor.
Oh, I'm praying. I would love to.
You know what else you could do? You could free Willy. Okay, so let me tell you.
It's interesting what you said about the MBA, because even here, when it comes to vet requirements, so many of the opportunities, it's not only about electives. They want to know what type of business management skills do you have, because not only do you have to be the practitioner, but they want you to lead teams. So that's what led me to the MBA program.
I know this, and that's why I'm doing this. That's why this is so important to me. But the reason that I picked you out is because I have a 6-month-old mini golden doodle that I had, bred. And
oh, wow.
His name is Elton, and where is he? Oh, he's not. He's in this little kennel that I built in the kitchen. He is so cool. He looks like a Muppet. And what they're doing now, this is so cool. They are taking big mama dogs like golden retrievers and little poodles. The mother was 65 pounds. The father was 8 pounds. And they're doing artificial insemination to create these amazing little guys. Now, he has a personality. He snapped at me a couple of times. And so, I kind of pissed him off. So, but he is He doesn't stop licking. This dog is Mr. Licker, and he is a Muppet. He looks exactly like a Muppet.
Aw.
So he just got neutered, and tomorrow he goes back to his puppy camp so he can run around with his other 30 friends. So it's great. Well, I'm glad you're a vet.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So what I want to do is open this up for questions. And if anybody has any questions, or you know what, I'll try to post this PowerPoint in the class. As you can see, there's a ton of stuff. Okay, it's a lot of repetition. And that's because I'm a marketing guy. It's repetition, repetition, repetition. So I know you all have a lot to do. Don't do everything on the same day. Do a little bit at a time. And like I said, you can do your discussions number 1 and 2 on day 1, on day 2, on day 3. Not the first one, but the second one you could do, anytime you want up to day 4. The paper, look at the examples. Just look at an example. You have questions? Email me. Just go and do it in course messages. You want to see pictures of my dog? I don't know. I'm just kidding. We're going to see turtles in the Cayman Islands. I'm telling you, I used to do underwater photography way back when we had Nikonos cameras, and oh my God, I scuba dived in the Red Sea and the Bahamas and the Caribbean and off the coast of California, and oh my gosh, Hawaii.
It's an amazing experience, and down here we're actually incorporating with first semester all the way through coral reef research programs. Yeah. So I just signed on. They wanted me on their program, so I'm going to be doing a lot of diving down here.
Well, and we're having this conversation, everybody. Anybody could just let me, I'm going to open this up, so if anybody wants to talk. What I was going to tell you is that my daughter, who's 30, I insisted that she learn how to scuba dive. We were going to go to Belize last year, but as fathers and daughters sometimes have arguments, we decided not to go. Anyway, she loved scuba diving off the coast of California. This weekend, she's going for her advanced. So, she's really into it, and she came over and, borrowed the light. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Do you want to write them in? Do you have anything you want?
Professor, I do have a question, and you might have reviewed it, and I was just tardy because I'm on Cayman time again. My apologies. Now, for the program, for the paper at the end, we had all chosen a particular company. I chose 3M. I really want to concentrate on my prior career in dentistry. So I thought with 3M, I want to particularly stay in their marketing scheme for dentistry and or just medical products. Is that acceptable?
You be product specific. Okay, I should tell you this. If you do the whole company, you're going to be exhausted. Keep focus. Keep it to one product. So if you're doing Nike, do shoes. You're doing 3M, you want to do pharmaceuticals, or you want to do they had tape, like transport tape or whatever you keep it simple, because you're going to go nuts. Because you're going to get to the end of this, and you're going to go, I don't know what I'm doing. It's too much. I'm exhausted. Keep it simple.
So would it be acceptable just to, focus on 3M and go even a little bit more individualized and just say I want to, concentrate on their dental restoration, their composites? Can I do that, like the dental filling material?
Yep.
You want it that simplified?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Do they have competition?
They actually do. And the reason I chose 3M is because I'm still in my association. So I get a whole website, just free periodic, reviews and everything. So it'll be easier for me to assess the information and make sure everything is peer reviewed.
You got it.
Big dental companies that are competing, 3M's on top though. I just know that because I've been doing it for a while, and that's why I said, 3M, that's familiar. I have to do that
You rock. You totally get it. And the peer-reviewed stuff, you could get a lot of that on. You can get a lot of that on the website. That's acceptable. I gave you in PowerPoint. You'll see there's a place where it says resources 520 that I created for students. You can find a ton of peer-reviewed stuff there. You know, if you've got 4 out of 5 peer-reviewed, it's cool. You know what? I just want to make sure that you're not making up stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I just know, like, in our field, we have so many reps with different companies, and one of the biggest things they're always fighting over is, you know, this dental filling material. We even use it in vet medicine, too. So I have a lot of good resources.
All right. Where are you going to live when you finish?
So I'm originally from New Jersey, and I have a few practices that already want me to come home. I put it this way. I have always taken strange opportunities, which is why I'm in Cayman. So I put it this way. Whoever gives me the most exciting, you know, opportunity when I'm done, I'm hoping to maybe go to Australia next and do aquatics. But, you know, whoever offers me an opportunity, I don't need to go home to New Jersey.
Cool.
Hopefully stay somewhere around the Gulf of Mexico,
Love it.
around Louisiana, Georgia. That's where I see myself.
Okay, let me stop the recording because that'll